Ask your provider for the Cologuard test or request online.
You have IT needs? We have IT solutions to help you thrive.
It is August 15th, 2025. Thank you for being part of this weather community. Your comments, they're definitely keeping me going. And thank you for sharing this information to get the correct, non-hyped, kind of measured impacts of this system out there, the information out there. I really do appreciate that. All right, let's show you what's happening here. This, of course, is Erin. Erin later today will become a hurricane, and I do expect later today additional watches and warnings. We have new areas that are going into monitor mode. I'll show you that. Tropical storm conditions for some of our islands. All islands matter, big or small. I want to zoom down into that. Now, this is the time where, no doubt, the anxiety northeastern Mexico that will be moving in. Now, here is the most likely path, and this has been on track from the last several days from what I've been showing you. The wells a few kilometers delayed in making the turn. That could mean some potential impacts for the east coast of the United States and Atlantic region of Canada. A slightly earlier turn, that could mean more of a direct impact into Bermuda. So that is what we'll be watching together. Videos, but it is on track. The center of this will pass to the north of Puerto Rico on Sunday. North of Puerto Rico, right? Now, we will get some tropical storm conditions in British and U.S. Virgin Islands, Antigua and Barbuda, and Anguilla. But as I mentioned, it will become a major hurricane, especially as we get into tomorrow night. It could rapidly intensify, and I want to tell you that because I know there's going to be a lot of stuff out there. Other entities just trying to get clicks and views. I know that stuff's out there. It is supposed to grow. It is going to get a lot stronger and a lot bigger, and it will be scary looking, and then it will swing its way eventually, making that turn back more to the north. I know these things can change, and I've seen that in my decades of doing this. So if there's we've been talking about the last few days, it is on track, and you can see here, if you're in Haiti in the DR, this is not coming in. If that information is getting passed along, you tell them I said it. It is not coming our way in Haiti and the DR. We will get some additional rain potentially, but this is going to stay to the north. And you see here's Puerto Rico. The American and European model almost exactly in line. The center of this will be over 300 miles away, or 480 kilometers away. Of course, it's going to be a big, powerful system, and that is why we are going to get clipped by those tropical storm conditions. So this has been holding for us from what I've been showing you the last several days. There are some watches that have been posted, and we'll see additional watches. So if you get some alerts going off or you see these watches, that is what is supposed to happen. Tropical storm watches will most likely be expanded through the British, U.S. Virgin Islands, back through Puerto Rico, and then flipping over into warning. So this weekend, center to the north, but we'll get the gusty winds and flooding. So what can we expect? Well, we can expect some bands of rain working in around the system. Hurricane conditions to the north, but we are going to see those bands of rain that will be working in. Let me show you that here. So with that said, tropical storm conditions, rain 3 to 5 inches or up to 125 millimeters of rain that can impact the power grid. We'll be monitoring that carefully. Power outages will be a possibility in some spots. Gust about 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers an hour, and that's on the high side. And that's only if we get stuck in one of those rain bands. So we get a look at the highest wind outlook for us. If we get stuck in some of those rain bands, we're talking about the British and the U.S. Virgin Islands, especially in Ghana. I think our population is about 200 to maybe 300 inches of rain, could be more. I do expect flooding. I do expect some gusty winds in spots, right? So that is going to happen. That is what we have been talking about, and now we're going to see that evolving over the next couple of days. Now, in Antigua and Bermuda, especially Bermuda, that's where we could have some gusty winds and some rain. Not quite as much in Antigua. St. Kitts and Nevis north, a better chance of rain. Saba and Statia, we could get some spots, depending on how some of that rain shakes out, around 100 millimeters of rain. And then you see Haiti and the DR, not nearly as much, again, because this is going to make a turn away. So we'll see our kind of scattered areas of rain and some thunderstorms. Now, we are in monitor mode as well in the Turks and Caicos. It is on track to have these weather off to the east, but we may get clipped by some of those rain bands. This jogs a little bit more to the west, so we're on higher alert in the Turks and Caicos. We may eventually get some tropical storm watches weekend. Watching that, keeping a close eye on the southern Bahamas. And here's a new spot as we work our way into Bermuda. We are now in monitor mode, and we are more likely than not to eventually be in action mode. Action mode is when we have to make those more full preparations for the potential of hurricane impacts, right? But as of now in monitor mode, because I want to see when that turn happens, that'll be critical. There's a potential that the heaviest weather could stay off toward the east. That is a potential. So right now, that's why we're in monitor mode in Bermuda and not yet in action mode. Now, this gives us a feel of the uncertainty, right? Very certain over the next 24 hours of that west-northwesterly track. Again, it's moving a little bit due north of west, and that's why that'll keep the heaviest weather offshore of us. And you can see right here we are in the Caribbean, and you can see high confidence all the way through Sunday, right? Very high confidence. The clusters of this is the European model, the variations of it are all very much in line. Well north, the hurricane conditions are well north of Puerto Rico. We will get some tropical storm conditions, but the hurricane conditions would be off toward the east of the southern Bahamas and to the east of the Turks and Caicos. Now, then we start to get more of a spread as we work our way into Monday. This is Monday, and this shows you the uncertainty. So I am monitoring carefully the Turks and Caicos. We're in monitor mode, and the southern Bahamas, just to make sure it takes that turn. If it looks like it's going to be a little bit more west, I'll update things as we go forward. And then, of course, as we go out in time, no doubt, this is by Tuesday, we get that bigger spread in the chances. Does this come a little bit closer to the U.S. coastline, closer to Bermuda? Does it try to go right in between? That's what we'll be watching, but it's all contingent on that turn that it eventually makes. And this is going way out in time here, Wednesday into Thursday, to show you that spread anywhere from the Outer Banks of North Carolina back through Bermuda, the potential of that kind of hooking. And then we'll see if this misses the Atlantic Ridge again. This is the modeling I've been watching overnight. You try to watch this nonstop for you. It does show a chance of rain. I do want to expand out the view in a second, actually probably in a couple minutes. Thank you for your patience, to show you long-term what can kind of happen with this. But you see the models in very strong agreement. Then it's just going to be a matter of that turn. Here's Haiti, the DR, Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas. Here's Puerto Rico. So again, on track from that most likely path that I've been showing you now for days and days. I hope some of my forecasting can actually be boring in the sense that it stays on track. That's what we're seeing, and I mean that in the nicest way to me, but that's what we're seeing at this point. So those models going out in time, this is 24 hours out in time, 1 day out in time, 2 days out in time, 3 days out in time. Most likely into this pinkish or reddish shading, Category 3 hurricane, and that's why I mentioned, again, it is going to grow in size and get very strong. But the track of it is what I've been showing you. So there's going to be a lot out there, and the anxiety is going to build. There's going to be a massive hurricane in the southwestern Atlantic, but everything, I'm watching everything. I got you covered here with the not only the models, but what's going on in the environment. So this is exactly what we talked about, and now we're going to be seeing it happening. Of course, long term, I still have uncertainty. I'll let you know what I know and I don't know. But here's why. Now, there's no high pressure that is really strong to the north of it. I'll show you that with the American model. This is the European model, but there's a couple fronts, if you will, to the north, and that helps to draw it to the north. High pressure is a big blocker, right? That's not going to be super strong because these fronts are moving off the east coast of the United States. There's no big area of high pressure to the north. That allows it to make the turn. The hurricane conditions north of us in the northeastern Caribbean, we will get clipped by some of those tropical storm conditions. So we have the fronts that help to give that alleyway. High pressure over here, a weaker area of high pressure way the heck over there. This will work its way right up in between. Here's Bermuda, by the way. Outer banks of North Carolina get from Hatteras, Nags Head, Corolla up through Duck right there. So here's the hurricane conditions. Again, a very large system at this point. This here would be by Sunday. North of Puerto Rico, the south side, we see some of those rain bands that will be moving in. I want to zoom down very closely and show you the rain bands and the winds in just a moment. And then this here would be by Monday. Here we are in the northern, central, southern Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. This is the area that will be getting stronger. It'll be a major hurricane, of course, as we work our way into Monday and then making that turn. And I showed you why it's going to make that turn. There's no blocker to the north of it. So systems like to go poleward, path of least resistance. If there's nothing blocking it, they go to the north, and that's why it's going to take that turn. Here's Bermuda. This is by Tuesday, watching the southeast coast of the United States. Florida, this is all going to be off toward the east. But a powerful hurricane here. Here's Bermuda. Here are the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and it may be right in between. We'll see if it shifts closer to the United States or closer to Bermuda. But this here would be by Wednesday, and then you get those far-stretching feeder bands, so enhancing the chance of rain kind of indirectly back through the Bahamas once we work our way into the middle of next week. Now, here is the American model, and you can see how it matches up with the European model. And then I want to zoom down and dissect the winds in this, the wind field in this. High pressure, that is off toward the east, right? So that has moved away. That's the blocker. We have these little fronts around, so it kind of helps tug this area back toward eventually back toward more to the north. So here's this area here, out ahead of it, that additional rain.
Yo.
So see that rain chance picking up.